Hi.
Has she joined? Has she joined? Yeah, there she is.
Yes, yes.
There she is. We're still the network. We're still getting an. Yeah. Okay. There she is. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm good.
There
I'm
we
good.
go. Hi.
Nice to meet you too. I'm so excited.
How are you? I'm
I'm
all right,
very
thank you. It's nice to
excited.
meet you.
Wow.
Me too. Nervous
Oh.
but excited.
All right, so let me go ahead and introduce
Mm-hmm.
our
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah, now Kudzai.
All
Okay.
right.
Mhm.
So on our panel today, we have Kudzai J. Chirenga,
Mhm.
who is the founder and director of For Her, which is now a youth branch of WICO Zimbabwe. Kudzai has spent the past decade working with teenagers in the capacity of a teacher and teen director. She's
Mhm.
a self-acclaimed citizen of the world who is passionate about people, especially the youth, and a
Mhm.
philanthropist, weightlifter, and an adoring aunt. She
Mhm.
believes that her core mandate in this life is to
Mhm.
love. Let's give Kudzai a warm welcome.
Thank you, Kudzai, for joining us. Nice, so excited to meet you. So
And
excited.
for those of you who may
Thank
not know
you.
Faith
Thank you.
Tavengwa is just a newly acclaimed author. She
Mm.
has a book
Oh,
that she
nice.
wrote, Tips for Young Ladies that are aspiring to get married. Do check out the book, and it is definitely a must read. She is the founder of the Faith Tavengwa Foundation, and its mandate is to help women and girls. We're
Mhm.
out here to empower one another. All
Mhm.
right, so without wasting any more time, let's
Yeah.
get on to today's talk.
Mhm.
First things first,
Mhm.
I'd like to find out from you, Kudzai, what do you think about Women's Month, and do you think it has served its purpose, or do you think it's still a work in progress, especially here in Zimbabwe?
Ooh, that's a. Okay. Don't know if you can hear. Everyone seems to be circling.
Yes,
Okay, so what do I think about it? So, okay, let me just make sure I got this right. What do I think about it? Do
yes,
I think it has
yes.
been effective, especially in Zimbabwe, and do I generally think it's necessary? Right? Um, well, honest, I think in terms of feminism, I think I could say I am a newly found feminist. I don't even know how to identify as a feminist. I didn't even know, till, to be honest, not too long ago that it was Women's Month. So it's clearly necessary because even women themselves don't know that there's a whole month dedicated to them. And I watch TV, I'm on social media, so and I'm in an organization that deals with women, but I still didn't know that there was I thought it was like in September or August, but that's breast cancer awareness month. So I think it's definitely necessary, and it's necessary not just so that you know that there's a month dedicated to women, but to also know what women are capable of doing and achieving, and that's what it is. As far as Zimbabwe is concerned, I know a lot of civil societies have been doing a very good job of reiterating that it's Women's Month and reiterating the celebration of women. So I think it's definitely necessary so that everyone is on the same page. And once everyone is on the same page, then
Thank you.
celebrating it will even
Faith, would
be
you
a
like to
bigger
add
thing
anything?
from there.
I think she said most of the stuff, but I'm just gonna say, I think Women's Day is very important in that it says take a pause, and just think about women, the role of women in our communities, in our societies, because sometimes people don't know the strength of the women, what women go through. So this day is very special. It just encourages women to unite and think about what are you doing as a woman to make a
Mm.
difference on this earth. So I think it encourages women to connect, and there's no limit to what we can do when we're together. Togetherness is very important. It just reminds us that if we join together, we can do big things, because before we're oppressed and now we're sort of like free. There's a lot of room to do anything. So I think it's just a day for me, as a day to unite and just embrace each other. You can learn something from anyone, no criticism, maybe constructive one, but just encourage each other, because there's a lot of things going on. Everyone is trying to do something, but I think together, if we join forces, we can make a big difference. So it just teaches us to love and just encourage each other, empower each other. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, Kudzai, before we go anywhere, I'm so sorry, I forgot to ask. Please tell our audience what For Her is all about.
Okay. For her, it's called the For Her campaign because she is the goal. So everything that I do is in the capacity of For Her is for women, mainly young women. And it started very randomly. I wouldn't say it was something that I felt strongly about in the beginning. I went into a shop. I was based outside of Zimbabwe for a while. And then I'm that person who stockpiles pads. I'm sure it's not environmentally friendly, but I'm the person who stockpiles pads. And so I went into a shop the one day and I realized that, wow, pads are really expensive. And I then thought to myself, how many people can actually sincerely afford pads? And I'm not even talking brands that people know of, like just a generic pad. How many people can actually afford it? And then I realized not a lot. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to start a campaign. I'm going to raise funds. I don't know from where. I'm going to put something on Instagram. I'm going to put something on Facebook. Someone's going to watch it. And eventually I'm going to be able to raise enough to just find a group of girls. So I wasn't even trying to change Zimbabwe. I just wanted to find a group of girls. You feel bad about the things that you have a little bit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go find a group of girls. I'm going to be like, right, you are the group of girls I have identified. And that's when I found Wiko Zimbabwe. And they helped me out because they have access to schools. And I then donated to about 50 girls. So people chipped in, all well wishes, so no donors in the typical sense, but people donated, gave through money, and then we bought pads. And that's how For Her was birthed. And sadly, when you then get into philanthropy, you then realize that there is a bigger problem than you thought. So initially, I just thought it was a problem with pads. Like, pads were expensive. Then I realized that some don't even have pads. Then I realized they don't. Okay, I've given them pads, fantastic.
Yeah.
But some don't even have the underwear to attach the pad to. And I was like, oh my goodness, this problem keeps multiplying and multiplying. And then I realized, initially it was just like a one-off thing that I was hoping to do. And I realized I'm too far in to stop now. So I then just carried on with it. And last year we did a Christmas lunch as well, where the mothers came and they had a lunch with their girls. They had a little talk as well. So that's kind of how For Her, it's happening as it happens. So
going with it.
Yeah, no, that's really it. I'm just going with it. Wherever it takes me, wherever there's a need, that's where I'll be.
We're talking about the girl child, we're talking about women, and given our current situation, there's a high rise in the term slay queen, right? Women who have to women have to dress a certain way in order to get to basically earn a living and fend for the family. Now, as For Her campaign, as the Faith Tavengwa Foundation, what are we going to do to kind of solve this issue? We're not going to be able to save everyone, but what can we do to solve the issue that we have?
Okay. Who do you want to answer? Okay, I'm going to answer that first. Okay, I'll try my best. First of all, I like what For Her campaign said, Kudzai. She said, I thought it was just going to be a one-off thing. Sometimes you just think, let me just help in this situation. But if it's your calling, if it was what God wants for you, you find that something will just happen, and you see that that's what God wants you to do. So it's the same for me. I've been pushing it back for a while. I wanted to do charity for a long time, I think for the past 3 years, but I didn't know where to start and how to do it, how the registration and all the processes. But then it kept on eating me. I said, I need to make a difference. I need to do something. Especially around the time of Corona, I started thinking about how people are suffering and all that. So even if I don't have much, but I think with the little I have, I can start. So in the start thinking that if I start, then probably people will help out. So my hope on Faith Foundation is that if someone sees the foundation or sees what we're doing, they can come forward with whatever they have and we help more people, because there's so much people in need. Like what Kudzai said, the problem is bigger. When my mother went to the people that went to give out the first package last month, as you remember, the pictures on my profile, you see that we thought we'll just do 10 people, but they started giving us more names, that there's a lot of orphans and people in need. We thought, oh my God, I'm still using my own income, but if that's what God wants, I'll try my best, So the problem is bigger. So what I will say that if we help these people and we get more support from others, we can change a lot of women, a lot of girls, so that they can just do more education, or if they are talented at something, baking or sewing or hairdressing, if we have the money to encourage them to go to courses and they can be professional in whatever they are doing, they can fend for themselves so that they are not under pressure to sell their bodies or to be a certain way or do prostitution to survive. So that's a part of empowering women. If they can fend for themselves, then they're not going to look for money from men or selling their bodies. So we're hoping that if we get more support on this foundation, we can change and maybe encourage other people to do their charity in their towns where they are born. Like for me, I was born in Bulawayo. So it's based in Bulawayo versus Gweru. I'm hoping to do all over Zimbabwe wherever I can if I get more support. But it takes a woman who comes from a town where they were born to try to change something. So I think that's all I can say. I'll leave the rest to Kudzai. Yeah.
Well, first of all, in terms of slay queens, I'm like, slay queen, slay. If you want to slay, slay. But obviously within the context that you are talking about, in terms of having to look a certain way so you can attract a certain type of man to then afford your living, then obviously there is clearly a discussion that needs to be had where that is concerned. Because I say own who you are, right? So I want to make it clear for those, because I know that there's a group of women who identify as slay queens and they don't think that it's a bad thing. And so, like I said, if you want to slay, slay. But if you're slaying in the hopes that you're going to get money from that, in the hopes that you're going to suck some poor rich man, poor old pot-bellied man, I'm sorry for the stereotype, but if that is why you think you're doing it, then there's a problem and then there's a discussion. And like what Faith was saying, that's when we need to start looking at what courses are available. What can we do for these women? Because some of these things take a long time, right? So, but if you can identify certain courses or vocational skills that these women can then take on, so that they're not dependent on someone else and they can become dependent within themselves. And it's not their bodies that are being sold, it's their talent that they're advertising. That's what we need to get to a point where women are being who they are and being true to who they are. And it's about identifying. Like she says, I'm from Gweru, so I identified girls in Gweru. Like there's certain problems and certain opportunities that aren't afforded to certain people based on their location. So geographical location plays a big role. So by identifying, okay, women in Bulawayo, this is their biggest struggle. Women in Gweru, this is their biggest struggle. Women in Harare, and so on and so forth. And then as you identify what the problem is, you can then figure out what the solution is from the people themselves. Like, this is what we've been forced to do because of A, B, C, and D. This is what, and then you look at what resources are available in Gweru, for example, and what opportunities are available in Gweru, and then you tap into those, then you create programs and you create courses that will then benefit these women as well.
Just another thing, charity tends to leave people highly dependent, right? So how then do we leave people independent and not dependent on For Her campaign and the Faith Tavengwa Foundation?
Okay, for me, I think that's the whole point of the charity, to empower them. So if they are still young and in school, we'll support them through the education, supply them with their basic needs like sanitary pads and basic food, until they reach to a level whereby whether they finish GCSEs, we see if they do well their GCSEs, they can go on to A level and then after go to uni, whatever. There's no limit to what they can do. So our point is to leave them to a point whereby they can now fend for themselves. If they're not too academic and maybe they don't do well in their GCSEs, maybe they try again and it's not working out. Then maybe they've got a talent in something, hairdressing, sewing. So then obviously we now put them in a course and they can do that course, and then hoping that when they finish that course, we now say, okay, we'll give you a little start, buy your materials, buy your machine. Hopefully, that's what I'm saying. If we get more donors and funders to help us, that's the whole point I want to do. We leave them in that position. They say we buy the machines and materials, say now you can start your own life. If that fails, then there's nothing we can do because there's more coming in who can't fend for themselves. When you live here at that stage, then now we say we're not even going to regret to say goodbye to you, because we can't keep on fending until you have children, until you. It will help single mothers as well, obviously. Maybe who've come out of a bad relationship or who are in an abusive relationship, until they can be able to start something for themselves. Maybe it's a business, selling tomatoes or something. When they're at that level, we leave them. Because definitely, to be honest, we're not God. We can't finish all the problems. We can only do so much until we get to a stage whereby they can sort of like fend for themselves. So we're sort of like not spoiling them in a way. We're helping them until they get to a stage whereby we'll help them and support them to fend for themselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if Kudzai.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think it's about ownership. So I don't know how we can design a program or design some form of input in these girls' lives where they have to take ownership of their own lives. So you can't, so when you have ownership of self and you realize that I am in the situation and it's up to me to solve this problem. So yeah, we'll come, like you're saying. It will come. My basic problem is where you don't want them to then end up being, like you said, Tandi, slay queens, okay? Where you don't want them to end up selling their bodies. You then tell them to take ownership that Kudzai, you are Kudzai. This is your life. To get to a point where they say, this is your life. You have to decide what type of a life you want to live. So you can't expect people to come and solve your problems, because that's why you end up in a situation where you're 16 and pregnant, and because you're trying to please this particular man, because you're trying to fend for you and your family. Take responsibility. You expose them. Exposure is also very important. These courses are now available. I don't know, some people don't even know that there's a machine that can probably sew clothes. It's actually quite, it sounds silly to us because we are aware of these things, but some girls don't even have basic exposure to things like that. So you might say, okay, you seem to talk a lot. Do you know you could actually look into this particular field of work, and then you expose them to that, to the point where they take ownership. So because they've taken ownership of their lives, they've taken ownership of the skills that they might have through exposure. Then it's like, okay, little duckling, off you go, little bird, fly away. I'm not here to solve your problems. I have my own problems.
Maybe for lessons and maybe
just trying to get you to a point.
Sort of like where they speak about those things to teach those girls what we are saying. Probably events like Tandi, you were saying that before, that maybe you're going to be doing events. So I mean, is it like that kind of thing where you're talking to girls about what she's saying, teaching them about self-love and encouraging them to take ownership, like what she's saying? Can you solve it like that here?
Yeah, because there is, I think there's now a delay. There is a generation of people, and we can't run away from this, that have become dependent on donors, that have become dependent on, someone is going to come and solve our problems. They this, and they have come to a point where they know that it's going to come. Once people have identified a particular group or particular community, they keep coming back, right? I'll share this with you very quickly. When I started for her, my first target was the children's home. Okay, because it's the children's home. So I was like, okay, that will be the best place to start. And they actually told me that they have pads that expired. I didn't even know that pads expired. But they had so many people donating to them continuously because people identify a community and they keep going back to that community. So we have to then say, okay, fine, thank you for your help. We have to also direct how our donors give money into our country and into our communities because we understand our need more. So we need to be more vocal as community members to say, right, it's fantastic, thank you, but we actually don't need that. We need these women to get to a point, give them courses, give them a conversation about different skills that are available to them, the different lifestyles that could be available to them. Stop giving us things. Give us the money, we'll design the course, and we will let them carry on. So it's about not just having handouts. It's about actually creating something that will last a long term. And then people will realize, that we're not just here to solve life,
True that.
we're here to help you get to the next phase.
Thank you. I'm just going to read through some of the comments that we are getting. Steady mindset, we see you there. I'm loving this discussion. Go on, ladies. Thank you very much. Micah, yes, girl,
Thank
get that skill. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much.
One says women empowerment is very important, especially in this talk of selling bodies for money and opportunity. It is very necessary to offer psycho-education and the skills to make money. There's also need to engage people with different skills who are willing to teach a skill, offering mentoring services. Thank you very much. Yes, that is indeed very important in this journey that we have decided to embark on. I mean, it's one thing, like Kudzai is saying, to give someone the handout, but it doesn't do much for them if they already have that. But if we engage in conversations, if we actually take that step, if we get Kudzai, who's a weightlifter, okay, right, we're weightlifting today. You know, that kind of a thing. Or we get someone who's good at baking. Right, girls, this week we're going to learn how to make scones. Let's make scones. Here at the home, we're going to be selling our scones so that we can get our own income. Let's plant some vegetables. Let's do this. Let's become independent, you know, and not dependent.
That's the whole idea.
That's actually something that we have
that's the whole idea, to empower them.
Sorry,
definitely to take ownership, like you have to say. I think that's that big idea. So that means we need more support. Like I don't know what's your program, girls, and me, I'm far away from you guys, but definitely you should try to create some programs whereby you can meet up with these girls and they say out. Because some of them, they've got gifts already. All they need is to speak out, and you see how you can work with them. You know, everyone is unique. Everyone's got their own thing going on. So they can just say, oh, I need help. I'm a baker, I'm a starter. I just need to learn more. Or I can do hair. I'm really good at hair. So we just find hairdressers where they can go and do apprentice there. You know, so there's a lot of things that we can do to help them. So you guys, maybe you can set up some events once things go back to normal. Lockdown finishes, and then I can support from here. I can support from here. And, because definitely they need some.
That's definitely something that we. That's definitely something that we have in the pipeline as for her.
Want a world whereby women feel strong and confident to face the future. You know, I was listening to this other group, the way I listened to a lady who was crying because the husband is nowhere to be found. He's abandoned them. He went to another country and he just left them like that. He said he's been calling, please send me support from my kid. So we don't want women to be like that, just go and cry and wait for a man to provide for you when he abandons you. So it was just a wake-up call. Woman, wake up, he's left you. Start a new life, fend for yourself. Don't be waiting for that man to come and feed you. He says, so I don't know what to do, I'm lost. Have you talked to the relatives? Yes, I've talked to the relatives, but they ignore me. They're not saying anything. They keep saying they will talk to him. You know what I mean? So you can see the mindset that she's so laid back. She put all her trust to that man and all her hope, there's nothing. So that's why we did this charity as well, to just make sure the ladies, they're equipped, they've got some finance coming in their name, you know, and not just wait for a man to provide for you. It's a very hard life, you know. So for me, that's what the main reason why I started this charity. That's another side when I think of women. who have nothing and they're just waiting for someone to provide for them and their kids. I think it's a very hard life, you know. Yeah. So I bring back to the host now.
Kudzi, did you want to add something?
They're too quiet.
All right, great. I'll leave this time to our audience. Maybe we have a question or two. Please send in your comments if you have a question for us, if you have a comment for us, if you just want to send us some love, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah.
The time that we leave to you. This whole talk, we just wanted to make it a brief talk just to get people to know that, well, guys, we do have, for her campaign, we have the Faith Tavengwa Foundation, and we are hoping to impact, all right, sorry. We have a comment here from Sweetness Lee.
Yeah, that's my friend. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So ladies, our time is exactly 4 minutes before 5. So I'm going to give each of you 2 minutes to tell us your parting shot. So I'll start with Kudzi and then we'll move to Faith.
Okay. 2 minutes. Well, one of the things that I realized, and especially I think my travels have really exposed me to this, is we need to be our own solution. So in as much as it's fantastic, and don't get me wrong, I'm not coming at donors and I'm not coming at people who have charities that have funding from outside. But we have to get to a point where we understand that charity literally begins at home, where we have to come up with the solution ourselves. We have to give the money ourselves. I remember Wiko was opening a waiting mother's shelter, and this has stuck with me, and I think it will be with me for the rest of my life. He said, and I will translate as I go, it's not that Wiko has come. So we're grateful that Wiko has come and they have set up this clinic, and it's fantastic that they've done it. But what have we done as a community? You have tomatoes growing in your backyard. Have you ever thought of putting 5 tomatoes in a little bag and bringing it to the hospital, to the clinic, and saying, "Here is my contribution as a society, as a member of the community"? Painting. If you want to paint, maintenance. You might not have the financial aid to be able to help, but you definitely have the opportunity to help in different ways. Which is why every time someone says to me, "How can I help with 400?" I don't limit them to just funding. I say, what can you do? What is it that you have available to you? Do you want to be there on the day? Can you bake cakes? Fine, fantastic. If you want to come and bake a cake for the Christmas lunch, come and bake a cake for the Christmas lunch. Because the reality is we all don't have ample or excess amount of cash just laying around. Okay, but doesn't mean you can't help the next person. And so whatever your extra is, whether it's extra love, whether it's extra motivation, whatever it is that you have that you can offer to these girls, and I'm being biased here because I'm working with girls, but whatever you have to offer, bring that to the table. Don't wait for someone else to come and solve our solution. Let us be our own solution right now.
Before Faith goes ahead. So we have one. Well done, ladies, for championing the young girls' cause. Someone says charity begins at home. Well said at Kudzi. Right. I leave the floor to you, Faith.
Okay, yeah, Kudzi said a great point. You know, that's what I was thinking about. That definitely it has to start from us. Like I said, for myself, to start this charity, I have had to use my income. I said, God, I don't have much, but the little I have, I'll share, because I know there's people who are worse out there than my situation. So, because sometimes we tend to think that giving means you have more. You can give, even if you have little, you can give, because there's someone out there who's worse than you. So I just wanted to encourage other women or anyone listening that even if you have little, you can contribute. You know, for me, from my end, even if it's £5, £3, it's going to go to those who are really in need, to someone who's worse than what you are. So just think about another person. let's not expect to say, oh, help, like what she said, that always comes from the big people outside. We have to help our own community to bring change, to help our girls, you know, to put our girls in a better situation than what it was before mothers with nothing, always relying on their men and all that. So I want to change that. So it can only start from us. Definitely. Myself, I'm going to be giving out to people every 3 months like we did last month. So the next round is in April. So if anyone just wants to help out or in any way and can talk to Khola as well, maybe she's going to be doing some events with Kudzai to meet those girls and talk to them. So if you want to help in any way, just contact, just inbox any of us here, and then we can see where we can. We need more of you guys to help. Together we can. Alone we can't do it. We need your support. So thank you so much for taking your time to listen. Really appreciate. Please follow our pages and see what we do. Keep following. So we're trying our best in our own legal way. So keep following our pages. Please support us and invite other people and share as well. So I'm going to leave it to our host, Khola. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies, for giving me this opportunity to engage in this conversation. It was definitely a well-needed discussion, and I hope that we'll be able to cooperate and collaborate in future projects. Now, to all those who joined in, please do not forget to follow our pages. You can follow Kudzai. Her personal page is at Kudzai Chirenga, and her campaign page is for her campaign. Please do follow that page as well. You can follow the Faith Tavengwa Foundation, and you can follow Faith Empowering Women. And you can also follow this amazing host at Khola.
Yes.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for
You
your
did
time.
very well.
Thank
Amazing
you for
hosting.
this opportunity that we've had, and most importantly, thank you to those that joined in the conversation and left us these amazing comments and all the love that you gave us. We hope to engage in many more discussions, and yeah, thank you, ladies.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Do share the video
all right.
so we can share it on the different
I
sites as well.
Technology.
Call the manager.
Hey, manager. The other day I realized that you are so fast in saving. What do I press right now before we do this? What do I press straight away?
As soon as you end, yeah.
Okay.
As soon as you end the video,
it will give you an option to save the video once.
Manager, come. The manager is coming.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Guys, thank you so much for the opportunity. Nice to meet you for her campaign.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity. Yeah. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
And video.